Well, brand new questions being raised today in the debate over global warming. Last week, stolen emails from top researchers were posted online. Global warming skeptics saying those emails suggest that scientists may have worked together to manipulate global warming data. Defenders say those emails are being used out of context. With both sides now, we start with Chris Horner, a senior fellow at the Competitive Enterprise Institute, also the author of Red Hot Lies, How Global Warming Alarmists Use Threats, Fraud, and Deception to Keep You Misinformed. And on the other side, also joining us, eco-entrepreneur, conservationist, and co-founder of the Clean Economy Network, Howard Gould. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Chris, I'd like to start with you. Do you feel like these emails in some way substantiate what you've been arguing for years?
That's precisely what they are. They're being miscast as revelations. In fact, they are all affirmations, none out of context, all posted in full context, including entire email threads, affirming the specifics of the actions that we have been describing, including falsifying data, including falsifying the data of the entire premise for the IPCC process, the Kyoto Treaty, the Kyoto II Treaty, cap and trade, EPA's actions, and so on, all of which, for the U.S. perspective, must be stayed until the truth is outed here. We do need an investigation. If this is only possibly being taken out of context and there are some discretion over what they might mean, in fact, they are affirming everything a lot of people, including many, many scientists, including some in the refereed literature, have been making quite clear for years is going on.
Well, Howard, let me give you a chance to respond there. Do you feel like these are being taken out of context? Do you feel like there has been a good debate about global warming with skeptics also welcome to the table? What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that we've discussed this issue ad nauseum now, and it is pretty much understood that global warming is anthropogenic or man-made, and there are a few people out there that are still holdouts out there, and it's very, kind of ironic that they come out with this now, right before the Copenhagen meetings next month. And, I think it's trying to affect something or affect some sort of progress that may be made at that meeting next month.
Well, Howard, some of these emails go back to 1996, and the folks who are upset about how this has turned out say that's just the attitude they're worried about, the fact that anybody who is a skeptic or takes issue with the global warming community is sort of sidelined and said, well, there's only a few people who believe this, and they say they've been shut out of being able to publish articles and take things to various conferences, those kinds of things. Are you saying, it's a smaller group that's being represented, or it's just not true?
I'm saying it's probably a very, very small group of scientists relative to those that are saying that it is actually occurring. Are they being shut out of being able to participate in different conferences? I don't know that for a fact, but I think that there are other avenues that voices can be heard, and these guys don't seem to have a lot of credible data that says that if you have 100 doctors telling you one thing and 5 of them telling you something else, you kind of go with what what the masses are saying here. And I think it's widely understood globally. Maybe still there are some holdouts here in the United States, but I think globally it's understood that climate change is anthropogenic and man-made. And I think we're seeing even more effects of that
Shannon,
now.
let me clarify what these are, okay? This isn't information, as the individual's indicating, that just somehow was sprung now. In fact, it's just as likely to have come from a whistleblower, someone on the inside with a conscience. All of this information is subject to the UK's Freedom of Information Act. All of it has been under request for years. The most recent request, after they ran out of excuses, was, we lost the data. Well, that's implausible beyond belief, and also would cause a stay in the process until they found what the dog supposedly ate. So someone has forced cooperation with the UK's Freedom of Information Act, revealing this, 12, 13-year string of evidence of seeking to not keep people out of conferences, but out of the refereed literature.
Well, I think after 12...
Not basic, not just sort of random marginal results, but the premise, this hockey stick. They talked about hiding the decline in temperatures of the last half of the last century. That's not what other people are just saying, yes, I found that too.
But Chris, it seems to me after 12 years of data...
Only at the margins people are disagreeing, but they disagree according to their own words, and now they can't deny it anymore.
Well, after 12 years of data, the Wall Street Journal, the best that they can come up with in the Wall Street Journal is that some guy did a magic trick on some of the climate numbers. You're telling me out of 12 years of data, that's the best that they can come up with for debunking climate change?
Well, Howard, let me ask you this.
Here's the threat. There are 62 megs released, 100 more to come.
All right, Howard, let me ask you, this idea that if 1 in 5 scientists disagrees, Should they just go away? I mean, should their voice be silenced in this debate just because you say that most people now generally accept that there's global warming that's man-made?
Absolutely not. I don't think that they should go away. I think science should have no bias at all. But the fact is that they're pissed off because their voice isn't being heard because it's not credible. You know, I mean, after a while, you got to go, well, look, these guys are wrong. And, you know, this is...
If science should go on, Howard, shouldn't these people be removed from the process? Can you at least stipulate to that?
Should who be removed from the process?
If not, this is a religion because nothing can disprove it and everything's acceptable.
No, and I happen to agree. I think that, you know what, these people have a voice that should be heard. But, I mean, the fact is that you can't blame them because people aren't listening because it's not true.
Falsifying data be taken out of the process? Should the people, having proven now falsified the data, be taken out of the process?
The people who falsified the data, if it is without question proven that they falsified some sort of data at that university in England, then yes, maybe that person should be removed. So we need an
investigation. Howard and I agree we need an investigation.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I mean, if there should be some investigation. Look, if they broke the law or they're hiding something, then that is wrong. But the fact is that I think what they've picked out of this...
they broke the law. They describe how to break the law.
All right, Chris, let me ask you this, though. We're getting a portion of emails. We've got 1,000 emails, some 2,000 other documents. People are claiming they're out of context. There may be a lot of other emails that we don't know about. Any chance that there is something to exonerate some of the folks here? And what do you make of the charge that this is questionable timing?
It's questionable timing. They've been fighting releasing this for years. It's released now for reasons we don't know who got it. Was it a whistleblower? Was it a hacker? This is called a random sample, 62 megs out of 165 megs, so of course more is coming. You also have data, you have codes, we're still going through it, but the bottom line is, Shannon, would we have heard a defense if a real one existed? Yes, we would have heard it by now, and instead what we have seen are claims that, well, using the word trick is actually a very common application in science, although this is the first we've ever heard of it, and hiding the decline is just really describing something else. The plain meaning is described as the implausible, and the implausible is described as the reasonable meaning. If that's your first, best, and apparently last defense, these people have been caught with their pants at their ankles. Another 100 megs are coming. A real investigation that Howard has just agreed to shall ensue now, and all processes should be stayed. Kyoto 2, cap and trade, EPA's regulatory push, all of the energy rationing and tax schemes premised precisely on the research proven falsified in this material must be stayed.
All right, Howard, I want to give you the final word here.
No, I absolutely agree with Chris that, I mean, they should have an investigation. I mean, if stuff was falsified, we need to know about it. I mean, the fact is that I don't believe so because there's so many models that are coming out now that's showing that climate change is occurring. I mean, ocean acidification is now coming out to show that there's too much CO2 there as well. You know, I mean, the models and the science is completely overwhelming. So if somebody falsified it, I don't know why they needed to falsify it because there's plenty of evidence to show that it is occurring. But I do agree that if somebody did falsify it, they should be, you know, have to be some sort of investigation should occur.
All right, gentlemen, we'll leave you on your one point of agreement about a potential investigation. We'll leave it there with agreement. Chris Horner and Howard Gould, thank you both very much for a spirited debate.
Thank you.
Took it 8 minutes, but they got there, Shannon.
They did.
Well done. Bream.
Hey, listen, they generated some heat of their own. Whether or not you believe in global warming,
they did.
We liked it.
22 minutes before the hour now, we have worrisome new developments with the H1N1 virus. Tamiflu is said to be your best defense, your best last defense. Now we're hearing about a drug-resistant strain. Our Fox News Medical A team on what to believe and what to ignore in only 3 minutes.